It is Saturday afternoon, the 15th of February 2020, and I just got back from 4 weeks in Australia and New Zealand, and I thought I would show you briefly how I packed my camera bag and what I did with my equipment. The big problem on a trip like this is Qantas and Air New Zealand, although I wasn't flying Air New Zealand this time, but they have the same regs as Qantas. Carry-on weight in economy, you are allowed only 7 kilograms maximum, which is 15.4 pounds maximum for your carry-on items. Now online they say you are allowed 1 carry-on bag and 1 personal item, in my case my little camera bag, and so I packed both to not exceed 7 kilograms. When I got to DFW, Qantas has a big sign up there saying economy, maximum carry-on, 1 bag, 7 kilograms. Says nothing about your personal item. Well, there were plenty of people there with bags obviously way overweight, but in my case I had packed this being my carry-on bag, this being my personal item, both under 7 kilograms, and thankfully had no issues, could take it on the plane. One of the beauties of 4/3, of course, is you can fit everything I needed in a little bag like this, and the bag doesn't cost you a fortune. This is the second of these types of bags that I bought from Best Buy, only about $60, and in there I have the equivalent of the whole Nikon Trinity, which I have too in my Nikon gear, plus a Pro 8mm fisheye lens and various other accessories, as you will see. Equivalent bag for my Nikon gear would have been way bigger, way heavier, and so on. So I'll show you basically what I do. This is my carry-on bag, and in it I keep my Surface Pro and my travel documents in here. So my Surface Pro goes in there. Then in here I kept stuff for sleeping, one of these turtle things, little toiletry bag, little soft hat. You really need this if you're going to a sunny place. A cap doesn't work well in a place like summer in New Zealand where you'll get burnt to a crisp. Then I put all of my camera electronics, or a couple of little toiletry things, tissues, stuff for sleeping at night, because in economy they give you a very poor little eye protector. I have a better one in here, and so on. Noise cancelling, Sony noise cancelling headset, very useful. Then I pack my electronics and things in bags like this, so camera cords, EM1 Mark II charger, shaver cord, computer charger. So I put everything like this in bags. Here's my MC20. I carried that while I traveled in this bag. So if you put everything in bags like this, I took my EM1 Mark I as a backup. It's in here too, in a plastic bag. Well, in fact, I'm using it to film this video right now. But it was in here in a plastic bag as well. So all of this in bags, putting them like this helps you when you pack too, because when you're moving and you're packing, you've got a note in there as to what it is, you can make sure you haven't left anything behind, and it stops everything getting, I can just put them in here, lay them out, and they don't get all tangled. So that works really well. So let's move this bag out the way. Excuse me. I'm a bit hoarse. I still haven't recovered from, I only got back 2 nights ago, and I think I'm still on Australian time. So in this bag, on the plane, here's what I typically carry in it, and then I'll show you the slight difference. Let me get my MC20 out, as to what I do when I'm actually hiking on a trip doing photography. So this small bag weighed about 12 pounds, which is 5.4 kilograms, which is 1.6 kilograms less than what Qantas required, and I have everything I need in here. So there's a zip pocket on the top. Oh, sorry, it comes off like that. I have already undone it. In here I've got my air tickets. Then I have my remote, because I had planned to do some astrophotography. I've got 2 spare Olympus batteries. I have 2 pens, and I have a little notebook where I keep notes to myself on various tips for my Z6, my D810, my EM1, night shooting settings, how to get back to preset manual focus on my Olympus, Scott-born birds in flight tips, and so on. So this is a very useful little thing to carry that I don't have to try and remember everything. So that's in that pocket, pen pocket. There's another little zip pocket here. Here I keep additional memory cards. I keep little sticker notes so I can label my cards as I finish them. And I took the manual for my remote. Plus I have a memory card in there, a little USB or card reader that I can quickly just take out, pop into my Surface Pro 2 once I've taken the card out of the camera. Much easier than pulling off the little rubber plug and trying to plug in the camera and all of that. I brought my camera cable too, just in case, but I didn't use it. So that's all in that front pocket. There's a nice little side pocket here. In this side pocket, it's very small, but I'd either keep car keys and some business cards and a microfiber cleaning cloth. So that's what I put in there. This bag also has a very useful top pocket that you can get to without having to open the main compartment. So again, when traveling, my wallet in there, my telephone, an iPhone 8 in an OtterBox case in there. And again, traveling, I carry these cords, which are all of my charging cords for my phone and iPad, and adapters, little adapters for Australia and New Zealand. So when I reached my destination and was then going out on a hike, like down to Cathedral Cove in New Zealand, which is a major trek way down to the beach and then climbing all the way back out again, I wouldn't carry these then, but during travel, yes, I have those in there. Once I'm at my destination, these go out, and my little headset cord. I've carried this all over the world, never used it. I never really sit around just listening to music. I nearly left it behind this time and thought, well, I better take it just in case. Ended up not even using it. Then I also have, so when I'm hiking then I'll take my MC20 and I'll put that in there, and then my wallet will go in there with that like that. And I usually put my phone in a pants pocket or in a back pocket on my jeans or something like that. So when I'm actually hiking, that's what I carry. So in here too, I also have Theta V, very useful little thing to have that I carry. Have a little mount, extension mount for the top of my tripod. I put it in a bag because it's so small you can easily lose it. A little container of Advil in case you get tired out traveling and get a headache and so on. Little mini tripod. Tiny little thing, very useful for my Theta V. Couple of toothpicks, useful to have if you're out eating and get something stuck in your teeth, and a couple of tissues. So that's in the top pocket. In the side pocket here, my iPad. iPad goes in there. When I'm hiking again, then I don't carry this iPad. I leave it back at the motel. But for carrying on to the plane, using on the plane, slips in there perfectly, use that. Now the inside of the bag, here's what I got in here. You have to take the bag off if you're hiking to get to your gear. That's not a problem for me. When I pop this open, there's another pocket there, and in this pocket, inside the bag, I keep really important stuff. My passport, that's where I kept it. Then, these are the memory cards I used on the trip. As I finish a card, I have them pre-numbered, and then I'll take the card out of the camera, put in a spare card, put the used card after I've backed it up onto my computer into this pocket and zip it shut. So, important stuff like passport, used cards in that pocket. In the bag here itself, there's a little pocket here where I keep additional spare memory cards ready to go. So these are the ones I'd use immediately. The ones you saw in the other packet are to put in here if I need another card, because they are like backup cards. So in here itself, I have my EM1 Mark II with the 12 through 40 attached. On this trip, as in many trips, this 12 through 40 Pro has been my most used lens. So in fact, it's my most used lens in my Olympus gear, followed by the 40 to 150 Pro that's here. So there's that. Blower brush, very useful to have. 40 to 150 Pro. I put filters on the front of every lens that can take them. People have fits over that and say, oh, you're putting bad glass in front of good glass, all this stuff. Well, I say garbage. I've got hundreds of 200,000 shots with filters. I see no degradation. I use quality filters and they work extremely well. I used this lens on the beach, I used this lens on the beach, and I used, well, this one I didn't use on the beach, no filter, and I was worried, but these were covered with sticky sea spray, shooting surfing or shooting seascapes that I could carefully wipe my filter without fear of damaging the front element on my lens. So I put filters on all the lenses that can take them, and I use them with no problems. So that goes in there. Here I have the 7 through 14 Pro. This lens I used a fair amount as well, extremely useful lens. The equivalent of the 14 to 24 Nikon that I have for my D810. Here I have the 8mm Pro fisheye, and I used this for a couple of the interiors I did, as well as some of the astrophotography I did. I used the 7 through 14 also for some astrophotography, and it came out extremely well. Then in here I have the MC14, fits very well in there, and that's what I carried there. So that is the bag, that's what I carried. This camera with that lens, this one and that, those three are the equivalent of the Nikon Trinity that everybody speaks about. I have that Trinity of lenses for my Nikon gear as well. It would be double the weight and twice the bulk of this. So where I was hiking on a trip like this, and the weight requirements of Qantas, my Olympus gear more than sufficed, did everything I needed, and gave me exactly what I wanted. So I'm very happy with it. I don't plan on selling my Nikon gear anytime soon. I love it as well and enjoy using it. But certainly this gear is absolutely fantastic, and the compactness and size in a tiny little bag like that with everything that you see in there, and it only weighed about 12 pounds, that's pretty amazing, I think. So that's it. Just thought you might like to see what I actually carried on my trip now to New Zealand and Australia.